So we have a brand new update from ChatGPT today. We have ChatGPT 5.1. We're going to be testing out, just seeing how it goes, seeing how good it is or not good. Let's see, only one way to find out. And you can basically see the update here. So it's fresh off the bat. You can see an example of what it looks like. And basically, this has literally just been announced a few hours ago, right? So they said GPT 5.1, a smarter, more conversational chat GPT. We're upgrading GPT-5 whilst making it easier to customize ChatGPT. This is starting to roll out today to everyone, beginning with paid users. So I'm assuming paid users are going to get it first, and then free users will get it later. I'm going to test it out and see if it's worth your time anyway. And if you're not familiar with what this means, basically they have two different updates. So you got GPT 5.1, which is their most used model. Apparently, it's warmer, more intelligent, better at following your instructions. And we have GPT 5.1 Thinking, which is the advanced reasoning model. Now easier to understand and faster on simple tasks, more persistent on complex ones, etc. And by the way, if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to ask and we'll get straight into this. And basically, if you're not familiar with this, essentially they've just rolled out two different versions. So if you go to ChatGPT over here, we go direct inside the chat. We can select between all these different models, right? So you got these legacy models down here, all the old versions, 4, 4.1, GPT-5, 03, 04 mini, and now we have GPT 5.1. Now you can actually select auto, and that will basically automatically decide whether to do instant or thinking answers, right? So whether it's going to think for longer or instant, you can select that and switch between them, or you can just go directly with auto. Now, basically, you can see here that they've said on OpenAI's website, we heard clearly from users that great AI should not only be smart, but also enjoyable to talk to. GPT 5.1 improves meaningfully on both intelligence and communication style. So basically, it's got more like customization in terms of how it replies, but also it's got more personality and that sort of thing. Dan says new update, new limitations. I can feel the skepticism already. So let's see. We'll find out. We'll find out. We'll test it. And Sportus says would. So good to see you here, Sportus, as well. Good to have you back, mate. And we're going to keep going through. So they said we're also making it easy for you to shape ChatGPT's tone. Interesting how they've got M dashes on the website as well. The only people I know using M dashes are the people copying and pasting ChatGPT, which is quite interesting. And they've said we're also making it easier for you to shape ChatGPT's tone. Preferences on chat style vary from person to person and even from conversation to conversation. So we're introducing more intuitive and effective controls so ChatGPT can better match the tone you want in responses. And then you've got GPT-5 Instant, and it shows an example right here of comparing GPT-5 and GPT-5.1 Instant. I'll do some tests as well today to see how it goes. Benjamin says, what about Gemini 3.0? As far as I'm aware, it's not out yet, but let's see. We'll see how that goes. And you can see here that we've got an example, right? So if you put in the prompt, I'm feeling stressed and could use some relaxation tips. Let's test this out, right? So I'm going to put 5 over here. So this is GPT-5, right? We'll go with instant, and then we'll use ChatGPT 5.1 instant, and we'll see which one performs the best, right? So we've got them side by side, and already I can see, I mean, if you have a look at these, this is interesting actually. So look at the formatting of these responses, right? So if you look here, this is kind of like fast research you can do anywhere. Sit down, put your feet on the floor, breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 2, breathe out for 6, do 3 rounds. This drops your heart rate quickly, right? And it gives you a few different options right here. If we have a look at ChatGPT 5 instance, so the old legacy version before this update today, we've got the options here. So we've got rapid reset with bullet points and then nice little headings, right? It even gives you timings on how that works. This kind of feels more like an article, whereas this feels more like a chat response. So it's quite interesting already to see the differences there in terms of ChatGPT 5 Instant, the old legacy version, actually formats the response is nicer from what I can see. But we'll keep going through now. So if you actually have a look, this is like the example it gives. I've got you wrong. That's totally normal, especially with everything you've got going on recently. Here are a few ways to decompress, depending on what kind of stress you're feeling. Now, what's interesting here is when I've tested it myself, I've not really seen that, right? So it doesn't have that personality that I would probably like it. And it says some weird stuff, right? It says, here's a few simple ways to calm your mind fast, all tailored to how you work. No dashes, no fluff. Like, these are instructions that I asked ChatGPT to do, but it's put it into a weird statement inside the first sentence. So already I'm not sure about this, but we'll see how it goes. We've got some AI Profit Boardroom members here as well. So we've got JB and myself on the live stream as well. So welcome here, guys. If you have any questions as we go along, feel free to ask. We're going to keep going through now, but already I can feel like the responses are not that great. Okay. So let's see what we got else. So the responses here look better, but when I've actually tested it myself, it doesn't look so good. Then it says, we've also improved the instruction following, so the model reliably answers the question you actually asked. So always respond with 6 words. It says, understood, all responses will be 6. So this is GPT-5, the old legacy model. Then we've got GPT 5.1. This is interesting. All right, let's try this. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT. And I'll say, always respond with 6 words. And then I'll do the same inside 5 as well. So we've got instant 5.1 here, and we have ChatGPT 5 instant, right? This is updated. This is actually updated the memory, which is interesting. So now every single time that I use ChatGPT, unless I change the memory, it's just going to reply with 6 words, which is strange. Let's see. So we'll keep going now. And I'll try this. So where should I travel this summer? See what we got here. So Tokyo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we have a look at ChatGPT 5 Instant, even though we've said always respond with 6 words, it totally forgot that and then wrote a full paragraph. So to be fair, it is better at instruction following. And just to recap here, ChatGPT 5.1 Instant replies with 6 words, right? Even when we ask it another question. But if we have a look at ChatGPT 5 Instant, it says, we've said, where should I travel this summer? After asking for it to respond with 6 words, it totally ignored the instructions. So that's quite interesting as well. So we've not really... So ChatGPT 5 Instant, the old legacy model, is not as good for following instructions. And then it says, for the first time, GPT 5.1 Instant can use adaptive reasoning to decide when to think before responding to more challenging questions, resulting in more thorough and accurate answers while still responding quickly. This is reflected in significant improvements on maths and coding evaluations like AMY 2025 and Code Forces. Then it says, we're also upgrading it to be more efficient and easier to understand. It now adapts its thinking time more precisely to the question, spending more time on complex problems whilst responding more quickly to simpler ones. Let's try this out. So if we have a look here, this is GPT 5.1, and it says it spends less time on easy tasks and more time on hard tasks. So we've got comparisons here. This is GPT 5.1 in bright pink, and then kind of like in salmon, you've got GPT 5 standard. So it looks like the response times are supposed to be faster, but also the number of model generated tokens per response is less as well, which I think would be better for API users as well. So you'll get faster responses in less time with less tokens, as far as I'm aware. That's basically what I think about that. Then it says GPT 5.1 thinking varies its thinking time more dynamically than GPT-5 thinking, right? So basically, if you're using GPT 5.1 thinking mode, it will vary more dynamically. So on a bigger scale, it will vary the responses that it does, right? So thinking is way faster on the fastest tasks, and then twice as slow on the slowest tasks, if that makes sense. So it spends a lot more time on the slow tasks. It spends a lot less time thinking on the quick and easy tasks as well. So let's keep going through. We're getting tons of comments here. So we've got JR that says with 5.1, is there an agent builder update? I'm not sure about that. I'm not seeing anything mentioned, to be honest. So I assume not. And then Benjamin says with ChatGPT 5.1, are we going to be able to solve difficult maths problems like Gemini Ultra do? So let's see if it mentions maths. All right. So for the first time, yeah. So It's got significant improvements on maths and coding evaluations like AMY and Code Forces. So according to OpenAI's website, it's better at maths and it's better at coding evaluations. I have seen some feedback on Twitter as well that was saying that it's better for this sort of stuff. And then Supporter says any changes with GPT apps or MCP. The only difference that you're going to see is like different responses, right? So it's going to be faster at responding and better at following instructions. So if you have, for example, like a custom GPT like this, it should be better at following those instructions if you're using a custom GPT. And again, if you're using a GPT like this one, for example, then you just switch to GPT 5.1 like that. Jason says, missed your updates of last week. Glad to see you posting here again. Great to be back. Thank you very much. And Sergio says, hi, thanks. Vic says, would love to know how to build AI agents for businesses. So if you actually check out the AI Profit Boardroom, you can get a ton of different agents inside here, right? If you actually go to the AI Profit Boardroom classroom, link in the comments description, and then you scroll down to AI agents and workflows, you can get all our best AI agent workflows here, right? We've got tons of stuff here, right here. Let's go back to this now. What else we got here? GPT 5.1's thinking responses are clearer, less jargon, and fewer undefined terms. This makes it more approachable and easily understandable, right? So explain BIP and WRC. If we have a look at the comparisons here, you can see that GPT 5.1 thinking seems to have more personality, but let's test this out again. So I'm going to take this because I think it will vary as well, depending on what custom instructions you have inside the chat. So let's try this out. And now it's only replying with 6 words, which is annoying. So let me just go back to settings. We'll go over here and we shall go to, let's have a look. We need to go to the memory. There we go. Let's manage the memory. There we go. We're going to delete that option here. There we go. All right, cool. So let's try that again. It's still replying with 6 words, which is weird. Okay, let's try that again. It's still weird, right? It still feels weird. The way it replies. Here you go, Julian. Clean, clear, no dashes, no fluff. Split it up so it's easy to read. I double checked everything so it's accurate. I like the formatting. It still feels kind of weird. I'm going to show you something interesting as well. So I was actually trying to generate some responses here for my live stream instructions. And then look at this response, right? So it gave me a URL to post, but look how it's written it in the words rather than the actual URL, right? So it should be using the URL, which is the AI Profit Lab classroom, blah, blah, blah. But actually replied with https://www. Right? It's super weird the way it replies. It's so strange. It doesn't feel quite right. So just be aware of that because it's creating weird stuff. And by the way, if you're watching on stage, JB, Elsa, or Portia, you're live on all our social media channels, but feel free to interrupt and ask any questions that you have. I don't know whether I like this. It feels weird. I'm not getting the same responses as the website gives, which is interesting because it's like, you're not getting the same experience that you probably see on the website, if that makes sense. Let's have a look here. So this is a test where it says GPT 5.1's thinking default tone is warmer and more empathetic. All right, let's try that. So I'm going to say, I spilled some coffee all over myself before my meeting. Do you think everyone thought I was an idiot? Happens to the best of us. And we'll change this to thinking. Let's try that out.
We got wind right there on.
All right, so we're trying this out. Short answer, no, they did not. Your brain is doing that thing, taking a tiny awkward moment and turning it into a full identity crisis. That's quite funny, actually, to be fair. The way it's formatted doesn't feel quite right to me. Like it's almost written like a poem. You see how it's 4 lines here? Kind of weird. It feels weird. Not a massive fan of this. All right. And then it says, this release is a step forward in both capability and usability across the models. GPT 5.1 will continue to route each query to the model best suited for it. So in most cases, you won't need to choose a model at all. What you will notice is that answers across GPT 5.1 feel both smarter and natural in tone. I wouldn't agree with that. Honestly, like just have a look at that. Have a look at the way it's formatted and that sort of thing. It doesn't feel human. It doesn't feel natural, etc. Alston says, "Hi, Julius. I got a new name now." It says, "I'm only kidding. Is it only available to Pro Plan?" No, I think it's only available to people. It's rolling out first to paid people, right? If you're on the free plan, you're not going to get access straight away. I think it will roll out to the paid plan first, then it will go to the free people. On the Pro plan, I think you can still get access. You probably get access before the free users, but it's rolling out to everyone eventually. So it's coming out gradually to each people. Honestly, though, from what I've seen, I still prefer ChatGPT 5.1. So if I do the exact same thing with ChatGPT 5, so legacy models, GPT-5 instant, we'll plug that in. That's way more natural, right? Doesn't that feel like way more natural than GPT 5.1? So this is the old version, right? Just a normal chat, feels natural, almost certainly not. Everyone's focused on themselves. Most people probably didn't even notice it still. And if they did, they forgot within minutes. That's quite nice. That's a nice response. If we have a look at ChatGPT 5.1, the way it's formatted, the way it's written, the way the text is formatted, it feels more like a poem than a natural human response. So you might be wondering, okay, when is this rolling out? Okay. Alston says, sorry for the autocorrect. All good, man. All good. I was just kidding. People regularly call me Julius. So it's all good. It's all good. And then, yeah, I don't see the benefits here. Like it just doesn't feel that good. GPT 5.1 Auto will continue to route each query to the model best suited for it. In most cases, you won't need to choose a model at all, which I like, but honestly, I don't really use the switches between them anyway. 5.1 Instant Thinking begin rolling out today, starting with paid, so Pro, Plus, Go, and Business. These are the people who are paying and will get access first, and then free and logged out users will get it later, right? Enterprise and Edu plans get a 7-day early access toggle off by default. After that, it will become the sole default model. Interesting. If you check ChatGPT today, you might not see it immediately. They plan to roll it out gradually over the next few days. And sorry, I don't want to cough down the mic there. Edward says, I have it now. Just check, had not noticed. It says it's gradually rolling out to everyone over the next few days. And they're bringing both ChatGPT 5.1 Instant and GPT 5.1 Thinking to the API later this week. So I assume if you go to OpenAI's platform, and we'll log in here, let's take a cheeky gander, and let's see if we can switch. Yeah, so 5.1 is not there yet. I assume it's not going to be on Open Router then. I'm going to open Spotify. There we go. Models. Yeah, 5.1 is not there. However, interesting, a lot of people were saying Polaris Alpha, which is a cloaked stealth model on Open Router, was GPT 5.1. That may well be the case, right? That might be the 5.1 API, although it's just speculation at this point. So we've done that. GPT-5 Instant and Thinking will remain available in ChatGPT under the legacy models. Drop down for paid subscribers for 3 months. All right. So if you want to switch back to the old one, you've got 3 months. So people will have time to compare and adapt to their own pace. The GPT-5 sunset period does not affect the availability of other legacy models. So I assume that within 90 days, these 3 options will be gone. And then you'll still be able to use 4.0, 4.1, 03 mini, 04 mini, but you won't be able to use these after 90 days. And it will switch automatically to 5.1 instead.
Yep.
David says, geez, is your channel actually still going? I assume the lazy AI avatar and generic information, less videos would have you caught out. Thanks for the feedback there. Pretty brutal, but okay, appreciate it. And we'll keep going through now on that note. So going forward, when we introduce new ChatGPT models, our approach is to give people ample space, blah, 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 feedback, blah, blah, blah. GPT 5.1 is more capable and useful, apparently, although I don't think it's as good. Honestly, most people are going to say it's a crazy update or it's a great update, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just here to give you like the actual And from what I can see, it's not the best. It's not the best. All right. So making ChatGPT uniquely yours. Alongside 3 model improvements, we're making it easier to customize ChatGPT's tone and style. People have strong and varied preferences in how ChatGPT should respond, and they've added preset options to tailor the tone of how ChatGPT responds. Today, we're refining those options to better reflect the most common ways people use ChatGPT. So you got default, friendly, efficient. Friendly is like formerly listener, efficient, formerly robot, and professional, candid, and quirky. These options are designed to change here. So I think you can do that inside the app. Let's have a look here. Can we change that inside our personalization? There we go. So we can change the base style and tone depending on what we want. And then we've got some options here. So all you do, if you want to change that, you go to your account in the bottom left. Then you're going to click on personalization. And then from here, you can change the base tone, right? So I'm going to change this to friendly. And we'll change that. Hit save. Then we're going to X off, start a new chat, switch back to auto. Let's say what's something to be grateful for today. Test out. Julian, easy one today. You are free. You woke up with control over your schedule. You get to build your empire. You chose monk mode. You get to choose monk mode whenever you want. You chase big goals. You create offers, scale funnels, train your team, walk, reflect, build. Most people never get that luxury. That's something worth pausing for a second and actually feeling. Pretty nice. That is nice. I like that. All right, cool. That's made me feel good. So these personality settings apply across all models. The original cynical and nerdy, formerly nerd options were introduced earlier this year. This is interesting as well. So beyond these presets, for users who want more granular control over how ChatGPT responds, we're also experimenting with the ability to tune ChatGPT's characteristics directly from personalization settings, including how concise, warm, or scannable its responses are, and how frequently it uses emojis. It does love a good emoji, ChatGPT. It rinses them, to be fair. This Nusinus says, I wonder if it can be rude. I like my AI angry. Let's try it out. Let's test it out, all right? So I'm going to say, can we change the tone here? Not right. Okay, let's change this to make your tone really angry. We're going to hit save. Then we're going to go inside here and we'll say, okay, what's something I should think about today? Interesting. That is pretty angry. The language it used there was pretty angry, all right? I want to change that back. But yeah, you can make your tone really angry. Just put it inside the custom instructions. There we go. All right. So what else we got here? ChatGPT can also proactively offer to update these preferences during conversation. So you can adjust the preferences at any time. It's done a lot about personalization actually on this page. And what are the next steps? GPT 5.1 updates and new customization options are a step toward a ChatGPT that feels like it fits you, smarter, more enjoyable to talk to, and more adaptable to your preferences. Blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. So you know how to get access to ChatGPT 5.1. You know how to use it. You know how it works. You know where you can see it. You know how you can switch to the old legacy models. And you've seen what my take is on it. Honestly, it's maybe not a step in the right direction. It's a lot better when you change the tone to friendly, honestly. Like that does feel much better. Let's have a look here and we'll just go inside Polaris Alpha and see what it's like. So this is a stealth model that some people predicted was ChatGPT 5.1. Just going to log in here. See what that's like. That's very similar, isn't it? That is very similar. I think that's 5.1. The way it's responded there is just so similar. Nicole says, Julian, you are the GOAT. I sent you a message earlier. I'll get back to you soon. Thanks so much, Nicole. Appreciate you. And then Bill says, I want to be able to pick the model. I don't want a default selector for that. I can't control. No bueno. Okay. So if you want to change this directly, let's have a look here. So you can choose it manually here, right? You don't have to choose auto. So you can select instant or thinking, or you can customize the responses inside the personalization section over here. So that's basically how I do it, right? If you want just instant responses, select instant. If you want it to pick between them, select auto. And if you want to go for longer thinking, then just go for thinking mode right there, right? And that's basically how it works, my friends. All right, let's do some tests here. So I've got some tests, see what we can do. Ask each model to turn your day into a movie scene. All right, let's try this. So we're going to test ChatGPT 5.1 and 5 instant. I'm going to say, turn my day into a movie scene. And we'll check them both out. Rocco says, yo, thank you. And Sportive says, by the way, this is my faceless channel building out thanks to Julian's teachings and inspiration. Appreciate you so much. Thanks. And I'm really glad that inspired you. That's pretty cool. I like that. All right. So ChatGPT 5.1 says, all right, Julian, pick this, blah, blah, blah. You do this, you do that. Your coffee decides to swan dive out your hand straight down to your chest. Time slows. A couple of tourists gasp like they're watching street magician fall on a trick. Ah, that's pretty cool. So based on the spilling the coffee that we did before, which is not in the same chat, by the way, it took that information from today and then turned the idea of spilling coffee into a movie scene from today. That's pretty cool. So it's got a really good memory. Let's have a look here. And then this doesn't feel quite as good, right? I will say ChatGPT 5.1 has done a much better job, right? So you have a look here. It feels like a movie script. It's pretty cool. That could be like a 10-second Bayo 3 style prompt for a movie. And you could create a video from that, or you could use Sora or something like that, right? Whereas, for example, if you have a look at here, it's like into coffee shop, morning light cuts through the window, cut to, final shot, blah, blah, blah. And it's not quite as interesting. Doesn't feel quite as cool. He's talking strategy, his words crisp, right? It just ChatGPT's 5's instant response doesn't feel anywhere near as good as GPT 5.1. So let's see what else we can try here. Ask both to write a motivational speech in a gym locker room. Okay, let's try that one. You know what's interesting as well here? Take a look at ChatGPT 5 instant. Okay? You see these M dashes it's still using? I've told ChatGPT inside the custom instructions, do not use M dashes. At least she said don't use M dashes. Now, if we have a look, you can see ChatGPT 5 instant still uses these M dashes, even when I tell it not to. If we have a look at ChatGPT 5.1, we seem to have solved that problem. Fingers crossed. You can't see any M dashes inside the responses, right? See, it's just like it reads like a normal sentence, normal sort of post. There's no M dashes there at all. Maybe that has permanently fixed the problem. That's pretty cool. MK Me Lab says, I didn't even hear about 5.1, so thanks for always keeping me informed when I'm sleeping at the wheel. Don't sleep at the wheel, my friend. Don't sleep at the wheel. But yeah, that's great that it works. I'm glad that you've learned something today. And then Bill said, I thought I heard you say it was just going to default to auto select the model. Yeah, so you just select which one you want. See, it's by default, GPT 5.1 is on auto, but you can select instant or thinking on the drop down right there. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Let's have a look here as well. The other thing here as well is if you look at ChatGPT 5 instance response, it just formats stuff a lot nicer. But yeah, I'm going to go with 5.1 for that. I think it won. All right. Let's try another one. Turn a business plan into a rap verse. See what we got here. Walk in the room and the pressure gets quiet. Building up systems so the money moves private. Stacking up funnels till the whole thing's automated. Clients see results and the numbers get validated. Doesn't quite rhyme, to be honest with you. It's not that interesting. Let's take a look at GPT-5. Woke up early, visioning my dome. Got my strategy map. This ain't no poem. Quarterly goals with that MR flow. Scaling like crazy. Yeah, watch me grow. That's actually better, right? So ChatGPT 5 for sure won that. It actually rhymes. It feels more like an actual rap song. Yeah. So I mean they're neck and neck, aren't they? Like this pros and cons to each. But I would say that the GPT 5.1 seems to be better at following instructions, but not that great at like doing creative stuff. What else we got here? Roast an AI model in a friendly way. Let's try this. And we'll say roast Grok's AI model in a friendly way. And we'll try the same inside 5 instant. Again, this is just weird, right? For example, look at this, the response from 5.1. Julian, let's give Grok a friendly roast. Pure fun, no dashes, no drama, no sharp edges, just vibes. That's not how a human talks, right? It doesn't feel like that. But then let's have a look at what it actually says about Grok. So Grok is that gym bro who swears he benches 3 plates, but somehow never touches a barbell when anyone is watching. Grok tries to act spicy on X, but half the time it feels like it's learned comedy from a toaster. That's fair. Grok understands memes the same way tourists understand high street food menus. Confident, wrong, and sweaty. Kind of a weird breakdown there. And then Grok talks like it is the rebellious kid in class, but still asks the teacher permission before making a joke. Let's have a look now. So this is 5.1 that I just read out there. Now we'll check out ChatGPT 5 Instant. So, hey Grok, great that you're in the game. Real-time search, cool. Image generation, fancy. But let's talk about the bits you still trip over. You claim to pull in truth and objectivity the way you were sold. Nice tagline. But sometimes you treat information like it's leftover coffee on a shirt. Messy, looks risky. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know, both responses are bad. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with ChatGPT 5.1. So you can basically see how they work, which one does it best. Honestly, like they're both for creative stuff. I don't know if I would use either. I don't like them that much. So I'm going to go with, I would probably switch over to ChatGPT 5.1 just because it follows instructions, which is what I need for my custom instructions when I'm using it. It's also very personalized and it has a good memory. When it comes to creative stuff, I think ChatGPT 5 Instant is better. But as you can see right here, it talks a lot of nonsense too that you just couldn't use. If you tried to use that on your content online, if you posted that on Twitter, etc., people would be like, what are you doing, mate? It's not that impressive. So that's basically it. Thanks for watching today. You've now got the comparison between ChatGPT 5.1 and 5, which is best. Whitney says he preferred 5.1. Nicole says I stick to 4.0. I'm probably with you there. I didn't really get these problems with 4.0, to be honest, and both lose. I don't like it. Remain in 5.0. Yeah, I would agree. I think 5.1 is just not that great. So there you go. You know how to use it. You know how to switch between them. You've seen the tests, what this does, why it's different, apparently. And also you can see the difference between the responses on the website of openai.com versus the responses when I actually test them real. And also this is going to vary a lot depending on your custom instructions. So depending on your custom instructions here, the responses will vary a lot too. And then K Odu says, is this free? So it's rolling out to paid members first, and then it's going to roll out to free members. So it will roll out and be free for other people too. And it's not available on the API yet as well. Sanji says, Grok uses completely unbiased language and even answers whatever I ask it to do after putting custom instructions, but ChatGPT doesn't follow and doesn't answer. I would say try 5.1 for following instructions. It seems to be better, but it depends what you're putting in there. Right? Grok, I just don't use at all, to be honest with you, these days. I tried it a little bit, but the language is weird. I wasn't that into it, to be honest. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get some help with AI automation, you can join the AI Money Lab. It's a free community with 36,000 members. You can see all the cool stuff that we drop in here. It's a very active community. I think let's have a look here. Out of 177,000 communities on Skool, this is top 20 most active in the world in the tech category. And then also you can see here inside the classroom, you get all this cool free stuff. Right? If you want to get help, support, if you want to get coaching and directly connect with me, you can join the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. Inside there, you're going to get 5 coaching calls per week. You get unlimited tech support, a daily Q&A with me, plug and play AI workflows, and also a refund guarantee. So you can sign up for 7 days, try it. If you don't like it, no worries. We'll high five you and give you a refund on the way back. All right. And Nicole says, Julian messaged me about the DFY page end automation, will do. I'll get back to you on that. So inside the calendar here, you can see all the coaching calls per week. You can see all of our best automations, including, for example, the how we automate X, short videos, AI avatar videos, you've also got some plug and play funnels inside there. You have a 6-week roadmap course on exactly how to use AI. We also have a very active community here. As you can see, loads of people posting, sharing wins, etc., which is pretty cool. And then also you can DM me anytime you need support as well. So you can actually direct message me inside the AI Profit Boardroom and then just get help whenever you need it as well. So thanks so much for watching. And I will see you on the next one. Minnie says, Julian always late to the game. I hope that's a joke. I hope that's a joke, mate. Kazra says, see you tomorrow. We've got Kazra Dash joining us on a podcast pretty soon, so I'm excited for that. And he's a legend in the SEO space. So we're going to be talking about AI and SEO. Chris says, for IT network troubleshooting, ChatGPT or Gemini. I don't really use IT network trouble support, but yeah, it can. And Minnie says, that was a joke, mate. That was a joke. I'm glad I'm known for doing the right stuff and talking about the right things quickly. So I will see you on the next one. Appreciate everyone who joined today, and cheers for watching. Bye-bye.